in radio.
Freedom is a ribbon of untouched highway, an acre, 2 kids in a white picket dream, loosening your tie at the end of a workday. That's what America means to me. It's a purple heart that my granddaddy gave me, an ice cream shop on the corner of Main Street, 2 names carved in a heart on an oak tree. That's what America means to me. Oh, that's what America means to me. Oh, because of the brave, it's a land of the free. Small town heroes and big city dreams. Oh, that's what America means to me. Bottle rocket summers dropping from rope swings, Friday night dance with a homecoming queen, Detroit steel rolling out from the factory. That's what America means to me. Oh, that's what America means to me. Oh, because of the brave, it's the land of the free. Small town heroes and big city dreams. Oh, that's what America means to me. 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 Oh, because of the brave, it's the land of the free. Small town heroes and big city dreams. Oh, that's what America means to me. That's what America means to me.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
The horse, with beauty unsurpassed, strength immeasurable, and grace unlike any other, still remains humble enough to carry a man upon its back. When a service member or first responder takes an oath, he or she has mentally and physically committed themselves with self-sacrifice. From the front lines abroad to the very streets you live on in America, they protect. This oath is non-refundable and it is lifelong. Facing unimaginable dangers and unseen scars, these grounds are a place to recover and face any challenges head-on. As veterans and first responders ourselves, we know that battle all too well. From a simple talk with a friend on horseback to an entire debrief in the barn, this sanctuary has seen recovery take place time and time again. No hour of life is wasted that is spent in a saddle. The way we approach change isn't a new phenomenon. This animal has been with humans over 5,000 years. If you've ever been around a horse for long enough, you'll feel that thing, that electric trust. In that moment, nothing else is in your mind. When they turn into you, it's like the world disappears. We harness that moment to build skills off of. Repurposing requires flexibility, adaptability, and the willingness to challenge assumptions and conventional thinking. This approach can be applied to many areas in life, including business, education, and personal growth. To ride a horse is to fly without wings. This lesson and skills learned at War Horses will help reintegrate back into daily life. You'll learn coping mechanisms, improved communication skills, trust, and confidence that will help reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. These tools can be used every day to navigate life and take on many challenges. This may involve practicing mindfulness, setting boundaries, improving communication with loved ones. Transitioning back to society is hard on your own. And when you're at war horses, you're family, and families solve problems together.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
I can feel this in my ears. What is happening?
The voice of U.S. Army WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
How much of this can I play before I get a copyright strike? Hell, I don't know. I don't want to find out, so I guess I'm going to turn it down a little bit. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Friday Night Freedom. My name is Koz, and right up there is Pooky, otherwise known as Dr. Taxation is Theft.
Yes.
He's up in his deer stand right now.
Yeah.
So today is what is that? It's the 19th day of January already, man. This month is just shooting on by. Hopefully the rest of the year goes by. I don't know, man.
Usually it used to be like January used to last like a century, it seemed like, and
right?
Now it's just like.
And now we got that extra day in February, so February might last a super duper long time.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I got a leap year this year. So anyway, I'm Koz, that's Pooky. We are, this is WTF Nation Radio. We are the voice of U.S. Army WTF Moments. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter. We're live on Twitter right now, both Facebook pages. My Kick page doesn't work, so we're not there. YouTube, where else are we? Several other streaming platforms that are not in the United States. So we're pretty global, and it's a lot of fun. It's a really slow start to the year as far as shows go. We got everybody's got stuff going on. I think CQ's off this week. I don't think there's going to be a show this whole week except for the sports bar. So let's talk about the shows that we do have. The sports bar's on Sundays. Monday is the Monday edition. Pop Culture Warrior comes on Tuesday. Wednesday is the Smoke Pit. Thursday is Sergeant's Time. And every other Friday is Friday Night Freedom. Friday Night Freedom, which is us. We do shows every other week because of my schedule. My schedule is pretty stacked. I work in research and aviation and stuff, and we are in a very, very busy time, and I'm not complaining at all. It's just there's only so many hours in the day, and I can't really do a show on the Fridays. Every other Friday I get off of work, and that's the day that we do a show because I've got all day to prepare for it. So that's the reason for that. But this week I don't think there's going to be a show except for Sunday Sports Bar. If anybody from the sports bar is listening, kind of shoot me a message and let me know if I'm telling lies or not. I try not to tell lies. If I say something inaccurate, it's not intentional. And if I do realize my mistake, I will make up. Or what the heck? You drinking grape juice? What is that?
Wine.
Homemade wine?
No. This is store-bought.
That's a new one. I mean, you're usually drinking what do you usually have? You usually have either a see with a Four Loko or a Guinness.
Yeah, I've stepped away from the Four Loko. It's a little too much for me at that point.
I've never ever had a Four Loko, so I have no idea. Ice is doing great. Thanks for asking, Branko. He is doing good. I don't know how much is out there, but he is doing well, and he will be back in February. But yeah, thanks for asking, man. I'm sure he's appreciative of your concerns and well wishes. But yeah, man. So today, guess what? You know, I every once in a while I'll say birthdays and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I saw today is Edgar Allan Poe's birthday. Had he lived, he would have been 215 years old today.
Holy shit! I didn't realize he was from that time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Victorian era. I didn't realize that. No.
So he was born in Boston. He's a Bostonian. Born January 19th, 1809. He's an American poet and author, among other things. He's also a veteran, which is why I wanted to mention it. He's an Army vet.
Did not know that.
He enlisted at the age of 18. He lied about his age and said he was 22. Times were tough. He was born. His dad left. It was just his whole story, dude. When I was looking at Holly, what's up? When I was looking at his little bio, I'm just like, holy shit! I knew some of these things. I didn't know all of the things, but dude, the Wikipedia page is just stacked full of cool information on Edgar Allan Poe. Whether you like him or not, or read him or pay attention to him or know who he is, he's got an interesting ass story, dude. He had a rough ass life, He died at the age of 40. But that was, he had COVID. Yeah. He had fucking China. Yeah, he enlisted at the age of 18. He made $5 a month.
That was kind of standard back then.
Yeah. It's also Janis Joplin's birthday, too.
Oh, Lord.
Won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? I never really got into Janis Joplin. You know, I hear her music and I'm like, that's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
My grandmother loved it.
Really?
Yeah, she was big into the whole karaoke thing, and God bless her soul, but yeah, I used to hear that every time I'd come down here to visit in South Carolina, when I was a kid, because, I'm originally from the great state of Pennsylvania.
Ooh. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't your choice, man. I don't blame you at all.
Born there. Prefer Texas.
You know what? Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, I prefer Texas.
Texas is good, dude. We got cold as balls the other day.
Oh, my buddy has texted me. It's like, how's the weather? I sent him a picture. It was like 67 out where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent him a picture of that, and I was like, how's the weather? And he sent me a picture of his front. I guess he was getting like sleet or whatever it was. And I was like, motherfucker, you took that from your like ring that I installed. I put one of those camera bells at his house when I was down there in Texas for forever. I was like, you didn't even bother to get out of the house. He was like, nope, too cold.
It's just weird. And it's always during the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo that we usually have some kind of a weather event. Either it gets like really, really cold or there's an ice or a sleet storm. We had neither. We had lake effect. We had a massive amount of lake effect snow. There's tons and tons of lakes in the area. And the Metroplex from like Benbrook all the way into Dallas got a lot of lake effect snow. I got 1.5 inches of snow. So Monday morning I woke up at my normal time. So 4 o'clock in the morning, I knew it was supposed to snow. I had already told my boss, I'm like, if there is anything on the ground, I am not leaving the house. He's like, okay, bet. I put in my time already. So he's like, no, okay, this is no problem. No one's gonna show up to work. Texas, and I know anybody from places other than Texas, it's just like, oh, it's only 1 inch of snow, whatever. But we don't have snow removal equipment.
Yeah.
The only thing that we can do, and by we I mean the Department of Transportation in Texas, is pre-treat the roads, and that's it. They brine the shit out of the roads for like 2 days prior to a storm, and that's all that they can do. We don't have snow plows. You might get Joe Bob or something that might have an attachment at the front of his truck, but that's it. They're not going to clear the interstates. So we do the best that we can with what we got. So Monday, snow overnight between Sunday and Monday, the lake effect snow fell, and nobody went to work. Schools were closed. And then just to add, and this really sucks for like a single parent who has children who usually go to school. They called school Monday. That was a reasonable call the day off. Tuesday, they called school because of the temperature, because it was cold. It was definitely cold. It was down in the single digits. It was 9 degrees, which is really cold. As far as I know, the electric grid stayed up, and natural gas flowed. So whatever Governor Abbott had people do to make the system more robust seems to have worked. Knock on wood, because we had another cold front today, so it's like in the 20s right now. But anyway, it's where was I going with that? Anyway, it's really it sucks for a single person that works and has kids that are usually in school during the day, so they can go to work, and then all of a sudden the school is not going to be in session. So school wasn't in session Monday. They called school the entire day on Tuesday, and I think there was a delayed entry or a delayed start on Wednesday. So that was kind of crappy. So I don't know. That was that's that. But anyway, after I woke up, I went back to bed, of course, like any sane person would do. I woke up again about 7 o'clock in the morning, listening to the weather on my radio, and they said it was a really light snow. And I'm like, I wonder how light it was. So I opened up my garage door. I got my leaf blower out, and I blew off my driveway, my neighbor's driveway, my walkway, my neighbor's front walkway. And I'm like, man, this is pretty cool, man. That stuff blew off like nothing, like confetti. It was so light. So that was fun. That was my Monday. So it was okay. Yeah, I didn't go to school on Monday. Nobody went to. I'm sorry, I didn't go to work on Monday. Nobody went to work. There were some people that showed up that lived like really close, but for the most part, nothing happened Monday. Well, Holly says they haven't had school in Kentucky or Tennessee all week. Why is that? Did you guys get nailed or something?
I think that area got hit pretty hard, actually, if you think about it. Huh? Like you saw what happened in Buffalo when the Steelers-Bills game or whatever it is. Holy shit!
Was that the one that
they had to cancel?
They canceled the Sunday till Monday, and they still had snow. They were paying people $20 an hour to go and get snow. They said it was for safety. For safety reasons, we're not going to have the football game.
No, like I saw videos on the TikTok, the clock app, and I was like, okay, now I understand why they canceled it, because I was like, all right, if Kansas City can play in like the fourth coldest game in NFL history, and helmets are cracking and flying all over the place, I was like, why can't the Steelers? And then I saw it was like full-blown whiteout blizzard. Like, okay, you can't play a football game.
No, I mean, it's like during the game, you're even if let's say you start with a completely clear field, it's going to be covered by the end of the first quarter. There was so much snow falling out of the sky. But the people in the stands were having a blast, and I think this is like a tradition. That's why I think Buffalo's never ever going to have a stadium per se, just because this is every year it happens. They get all this bizarre snow. So fans show up, they start tailgating days before the game, and they get $20 an hour to go and help clear snow out of the stands. Dude, there are people in there and taking their shirts off and, sliding down, and they're like, yeah, for safety reasons, we're not going to have snow, but they had these big piles of snow, and people are jumping off these huge piles of snow onto tables that were on fire and stuff. That's just a crazy fan base up there in Buffalo.
The Northeast football teams with their open air stadiums is to me the greatest thing on the planet. Mm-hmm. You can't do that down south. Like, people be stroking out.
Yeah, I think everybody's got a stadium now here in Texas. I mean, they didn't get rid of. They moved. The Texas Rangers moved out of the Ranger Ballpark, and now they've got Globe Life Field, and that's an indoor stadium now. Of course. The Dallas Cowboys have AT&T Stadium. Yeah, I heard a joke. And if you look behind me, my where it is, right here, my Cowboys thing's upside down. I'm mourning the performance of the Cowboys last Sunday. That was horrible.
That was rough. I watched that travesty.
I was getting so many even some of my friends down in Houston. They're like, the Cowgirls, I'm like, you know what? They played
Did better than the Patriots.
The fucking A. I don't have an explanation. I'm not ever in the coach's head, but it's just I did watch the game, and it's just they played playoff football like they played all season. They played great football all season, but they took that method of playing into the playoffs. The playoffs is a whole different game, dude. This is playoff
all
football.
Or nothing. All or
you
nothing.
got to play to win, and they played playoff football like they did the whole other 12 games of the season, or however many games it was. They didn't play like champions should. So that's why they fucking lost. But I'm sure Dak's going to get a $50 million extension on his contract, and Dak's not a bad quarterback, dude. He's really not.
I think Cowboys' biggest issue is their owner,
Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, dude. There's so much hate down here for Jerry Jones. There's so much. Everyone's just like, dude, either die or just sell your stake in the team or something, man. Yeah, love the Cowboys. I just hate to see sometimes who's driving the bus. That's about it. I'll always be a Cowboys fan.
That's how I feel about the Steelers. I'm a Steelers fan, and I've just been watching it just like the last couple of seasons. It's like hurt my soul.
It does hurt. It does, man. I'm with you. I'm a guy. I get you, man. I get it. So here's my way of protesting Cowboys. Is right there, just my Cowboys thing.
Upside down
Cowboys.
There you go.
That's it. I'm not gonna run naked in the street. I'm not gonna block traffic. I'm not going to do anything like that. That's just my way of doing it. So this is we're back into spicy flu season, right?
Is it? All I've heard is a lot about like flu. I haven't heard much about COVID, but I should have said that word. What do you call it?
Spicy flu. The spicy flu.
COVIDs.
No, I've had some coworkers that got the COVIDs over the Christmas break, and then a few of them have showed up, like their spouse has it, so they come to work with the fucking face diaper on and shit. Others have gotten sick, but it was something other than the flu, something other than the spicy flu.
The common.
It's just they
cold.
just got sick as fuck.
The common cold that used to roll around every year.
Yeah, the common cold, right? But all these things are I'm again knocking on wood, man. Because I've been blessed with good health, but I do think most of this is it's socially distributed. If you've got kids, or if you are a social person, you go out to see people. I don't. I go to work. I come home. I go grocery shopping once a week.
Yeah,
I might go out.
Biological weapons running around your house.
Exactly right, man. Little petri dishes and stuff. But here's a little bit of news here. So, and this is kind of a two-part story, and it gets really interesting toward the end. And this is coming from the Wall Street Journal. Chinese researchers isolated and mapped the virus that causes the spicy flu, and I say the spicy flu just because I don't want to get flagged or for misinformation or disinformation. I think you all know what it means. You can see the picture up there, and we kind of pretty much all know where it came from, right? Yeah. China. Anyway, Chinese researchers isolated and mapped the virus that causes the spicy flu back in 2019, at least 2 weeks before they revealed all of these details to the world. China knew what it could do, and they withheld information from the rest of the world. As the world responded, China waited and they watched. China. The spicy flu virus caused governments and municipalities to overreach, overgovern, and altogether mismanaged a global pandemic. People, humans, along with their governments, overreacted, and now 90% of every government feels fairly confident that they can cede more power from their citizens with a well-placed medical crisis. But China hasn't stopped there. One might think that China would have learned their lesson, because they got called out on the carpet. So, this is from the Daily Mail 2 weeks ago. A new report claims that Chinese scientists have developed a spicy flu strain that attacks the brain and has a 100% kill rate in mice used to experiment with the virus. That's fucking scary, dude.
What the fuck?
The report The report indicates that Beijing-based scientists allegedly linked to China's military cloned a virus which was originally discovered in 2019 in Malaysian pangolins just prior to the spicy flu pandemic. Researchers noted that, quote, severe brain infection during the later stages may be the key cause of death in 100% of the mice. I haven't seen any mass reporting on this. I haven't heard a statement from the White House about this. Has any news organization mentioned it with any enthusiasm or commentary, or have they just like mentioned it? And that's all I've seen. I've only seen like a mention of it, and then there was no discussion. It's gaining momentum, but it hasn't caught fire yet. I'm sure it will. You know, it's going to get interesting to see how the world reacts to this and responds to this. I mean, China's just out there just making shit.
Are we playing with? This is like playing with fire at that point. Huh?
Mm-hmm. That is an excellent point, Branko. Can you tell that it's an election year? Now,
oh yes.
Now this virus, this little brain eating whatever the hell, it's not out.
Right?
It's in the lab. It hasn't escaped. It's not outside the lab yet. So there's no. Damn, dude. Why? I mean, I understand that you need to discover these weird things just so you know how to react to them, which is great. It's good if you do that, but when you start throwing China into the mix, I don't think that they're discovering these things in order to find a cure to them. These are bioweapons. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got no fucking proof, but these are just the feelings that come into my little head.
If you're making a virus that has 100% kill rate in a lab, that is a bioweapon. Simple as that. I guess this new CRISPR mRNA crap is the new nuclear arms race at this point. Who can make the most nastiest crap to throw at each other? That's the way I'm.
That was the original thing with CRISPR. Is people were developing things and learning how to develop things to help themselves or to help, if they had livestock, to help their livestock. And then people started making sheep that glowed in the dark. And that was cool, and that made for really good videos. And there was always that back channel discussion of, you've got all of this. It's like computers. You've got all of this awesome technology. There's bound to be someone who's going to just be a dick about it and make something that,
what was it that Jeff Goldblum's character in Jurassic Park said? You're all like concerned about like the science, but you didn't actually think about the there's the quote he said.
I forget the quote. I keep on thinking about him.
It was real. Like it hit the point. Like you were all concerned of what you could do, but you didn't think about the consequences of what this.
So what they did with those mice is they humanized the mice, and they probably did that genetically. Just made them more susceptible to this, that, or the other thing, and then they gave them this little virus, which is a strain. It's a mutation of the spicy flu virus, and it killed fucking every one of them. So I'm not happy about it, and I'm not smart enough to really do anything about it. But fuck, man, I'm just I just know enough to be fucking pissed and just wondering, what recourse does the rest of the globe have?
This I don't know if you've seen this. Speaking of like biochemistry and stuff like that, I was reading an article where they were putting human neurons in mice, and they were forming little brains inside of these mice's skulls.
They were making like synapses inside the mice brains?
But the thing about it was these little like little neuron cells that they were injecting started like developing eyeballs.
like eyeballs?
Like little like photoreceptors.
Dude, well I've seen the ones with like the mouse with the freaking with the ear on the back of the rat or whatever.
South Park made a whole.
Was that real?
South Park hits too close to home with some of these. No, they did like it wasn't They were making fun of the ear, but in South Park, it had a penis on the back. So this rat's running around with a massive dong,
a dong on the back of him. That's an E4 sign. That's an E4 that got out, went to fucking college, and then got CRISPR, and that's what he made in his garage.
Oh, the world today, man.
Yeah, China's going to be, and years ago, and I say that years ago. How many years ago? Let me quantify this. Probably during the Bush administration.
Okay.
I remember hearing, and this might have been just one of those conspiracy, what's his nuts? What's his face? Alex Jones conversation on Coast to Coast AM or something. But he's like, man, we need to worry about China. We need to worry. And when China wasn't even on the radar yet, they're on the radar as being a powerhouse in the globe. But he's like, no, we need to watch out for China. And then sure enough, 20 years later, 30 years later, guess what? China's asshole. Seriously.
Donald Trump, don't trust China, asshole.
Damn, dude. I don't know, man. I think, just the world for my kids are in their 20s. So let's say the world for my grandkids, whenever they come around, is going to be a whole lot different just than it is right now. And I mean, the world's a lot different now than it was when I was a kid. So
it's like two old dudes sitting on a porch and rocking chairs. Like,
no shit, man. Back in my day, and I hate to be that guy because I swore I'd never be that guy. But we all.
Yep. One day I had a realization. I was like, holy shit, I'm turning into my grandfather.
Yep. And I turned into my dad, and my kids are turning into their mom, and fuck. It happens. It happens. I think it not happening is rare. I think everybody mimics whatever environment that they were raised in. Man, but yeah, I think whatever they're doing in China is definitely not necessarily for weapons, but it's just one of those things like, hey, look what we found. Let's put this in the refrigerator for later.
I know how to make a black hole that can crush the world. Watch me do it.
Look at CERN. Look at CERN.
CERN.
I love everything about CERN. I've seen all, and I don't understand the science behind it. I just think it's cool. They were in the process of constructing a superconductor here in Texas, and they ended up going, we're sick of shoveling money down this thing, and then they gave it up, and then CERN was born.
CRISPR is what you're thinking.
I'm feral. she's wild. She's from the woods.
I grew up running around the woods as a kid.
She was born in a cave.
Wasn't born in a cave, but.
So what about the FAA? All these
Boeing 737-9s.
737-900. It's the max.
I've
the max.
Been flying on them a lot lately. Well, I don't like to fly, but I've been on a lot of them.
every time I'm making, and I just made 2 flight reservations, and I make sure that it's a 747 or it's like a 737-8, which are fine. But
so this stuff. I don't.
But I will not. I will not fly on a Max. I will not fly on a Max. And I don't care if they get all their issues taken care of. I will not fly on a Max. I'll go to Frontier.
As an aviator that knows your shit, you will not fly on. I want to hear that again.
As a person with a very extensive aviation background and flight control computers, how to make them, how to write software for them, I will not fly on a 737 Max.
There you go. All right, I just wanted to hear that. I got to write that down.
There's too many things that because you push it. I mean, you're schedule driven. You have to check that box. You're forced during development. You have to check that box, and that's how companies make money. You don't just sell the same old shit that you've been selling. You got to come out with the latest and greatest. Because over in Dubai, they have that air show every year, and it's like whoever's out there with the latest and greatest stuff that costs the most money is what's going to get bought by the major airlines. So Boeing is out there, Delta, Boeing. It's Boeing. They make everything, and they're damn good at it, man. I'm not throwing shade at all, but man, sometimes you just rush things to market, and they're not mature enough, and they haven't been tested enough. And it's unsafe, and it's one of those things where you'll sit down in a safety meeting, and it's everyone brings up, and I'm not saying that these points have never been brought up. I'm sure these points have been brought up, and pilots are in the room and safety people are in the room, and they're just like, that this isn't a concern right now. This is something that we need to work on, but we can still go to production and we can still fly with this. And someone signed off on it, and they said, yeah, let's put passengers on those fucking planes. Now, this door that got sucked off, what is that? Where did that happen? In Canada?
Can't remember, but I know it was Alaskan Airlines.
Alaskan Airlines, that's what it was.
And I know Alaskan Airlines has a history of neglecting maintenance, but disregard that.
Well, you can't really say that, because the FAA does have FARs, Federal Aviation Regulations, that govern maintenance on aircraft. It's every X amount of hours, these inspections must happen. And if you defer that maintenance, it can't be because it can't be a thing that has a safety of flight issue. This let's say the 3 of the fucking 500 video screens don't work on the that is a maintenance issue. You can defer that. You can kick that can down the road.
It's a circle square kind of, a circle X.
It's it's not a deadline item. Just kind of to put it to just regular veteran speak for like vehicles and whatever, because everyone's not in aviation. But there are other things where it's just this flight control computer it kicks offline periodically, and we can't put our finger on it. That's an issue. You can't kick that kind of maintenance down the road. Now, maintenance for let's say Delta or American or Southwest, they do their own maintenance, but I'll bet you 60% of that is I don't want to say farmed out. It's subcontracted to like companies like Launch or things like that, where you have very qualified people, A&P mechanics, avionics people, engineers who know what they're doing, and they perform the maintenance cycles for these. Maintenance for aircraft is extremely expensive. Anybody can own an airplane. Anybody can own a helicopter. That is the cost of it. Let's say a helicopter costs $20 million. Boom, $20 million. You're not done. You're going to spend tens of thousands of dollars a year on maintenance, maybe hundreds, depending on what kind of an airframe you've got. I've done aircraft recoveries before where it's like complete rebuilds. The only thing that we've salvaged was the data plate from the aircraft. Everything was new, dude. Everything. You keep the keel beam and the data plate, and you rebuild everything up from scratch. And the FAA comes in and certifies it. And you go through a bunch of testing. You don't just shit out an aircraft. It has to go through a lot of flight tests. But that just aircraft maintenance, just coming in for a 1,000 hour inspection is very expensive. To do engine inspections, that's very, very expensive, because you're paying the time for someone to come and do that. You're paying for the equipment that we use to do those inspections, and it's very, very expensive. But I mean, if you own a $20 million helicopter, I don't think a $50,000 service bill is gonna break you. So that's it. It's just maintenance is very intricate and very precise on aircraft. But I think that because, and this is my personal opinion, that I think because everybody is kind of not cutting corners, but there's this thing called DEI.
Oh yes, I know exactly where you're.
All right. Everybody wants everybody else to be involved. What the hell is the DEI?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Inclusion.
I think even Elon Musk came out and said this will be the death of corporate America if we keep doing this shit.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah,
it's an effort for people to, like, include everybody. So there was this thing, and this was on Fox News. So I'm going to put this little graphic up there. They're just oh gosh. The Federal Aviation Administration is actively recruiting workers who suffer, quote, severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative, which is actually spelled out in the Department of Transportation's website. Targeted disabilities are those disabilities that the federal government, as a matter of policy, has identified for special emphasis in recruiting and hiring. And this is coming straight from the FAA's website. They include hearing, vision, missing extremities, partial or complete paralysis, epilepsy, severe intellectual disability, psychiatric disability, and dwarfism. The initiative is a part of FAA's diversity and inclusion hiring plan, which says diversity is integral to achieving FAA's mission of ensuring safe and efficient travel across the nation and beyond. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second. Now that I've mentioned that, I want you to know that everyone who works for the FAA is not a pilot. It's just the same as everyone who works in the Air Force is not a pilot. There are tons of positions open for a variety of specialties at the FAA. And they've got a pretty good salary base too. So this DEI stuff is not like, hey, we're gonna have like, it's not the devil that everyone's making out to, but I can see where, like, the best way to explain it. Much of the news, especially reported by Fox, and I'm kind of pissed off at Fox and the way that they reported this, is it seems like they want somebody to believe that the airlines want to put a paralyzed epileptic dwarf with bipolar disorder in the cockpit of your favorite airline. Yeah. That's not the truth. I mean, this is DEI hiring across the board for the FAA. Look, dude, there are kick-ass jobs here at the FAA.
No, I'm looking. Yeah, that's
IT specialist, air traffic control specialist, supervisory aviation safety inspector.
$100K a year for
Dude,
IT systems administrator. What?
Yeah, these jobs do not suck.
Senior regional flight surgeon. I'm confused about that one, but all right, let's keep going.
Investigation specialist.
I don't know why a flight surgeon would make almost the same as a IT guy, but
still, it doesn't matter.
See, air traffic control. That's like I knew a guy who actually did that in the Army, and was it Southcom down there in Miami or whatever it is? He was an actual Army air traffic control. He said it is the most stressful job on the face of the earth.
I bet it is. I bet it is.
He just didn't want anything to do with it, and he's like, I got suckered in. My recruiter suckered me into it. Now I'm doing it, and I don't want anything. Once I get out of the Army, I'm done with this.
Now this, and I'm looking because I'm an engineering technician. So an engineering technician for the FAA, starting at 80. That's not bad. It's good. It's good, but it's not good in California. $80,000 ain't gonna get you shit.
That's what I was looking at, huh? But private sector as an engineering technician, you probably make more money than 80K, right? Huh?
Oh yeah.
All right. That's
yeah. That's yeah.
Air traffic control.
A lot of air traffic control in there. And I think
215K.
Where do you see that? Oh God, supervisor.
Yeah, this is $500,000 a year as a supervisor and an air traffic. Ooh. patrol specialist makes 167.
So flight attendants make around 45 a year, and it all depends.
That's not bad, though.
It's not bad at all.
Except dealing with assholes.
Exactly. I was going to say they put up with the good and the bad. And oh God, it's like you are in a tube filled with people, and you don't have a choice of what kind of clientele you get. Way back when you could smoke on aircraft. It was like only the people that had money would fly, and now it's like the prices for flying have come down. So now it's like a city bus in the air. Anybody can
Actually,
fly.
you think about that, it's like a Greyhound.
It is the Greyhound of the skies.
Flying, I always say don't fly American, but I flew American first class coming back from Texas, and I'm just like, I don't think I ever want to fly anything other than first class.
And I remembered what you said, because I just booked 2 flights. One of the flights I cashed in a bunch of miles on, but then I'm going to go and see my parents over July 4th that weekend, that whole week actually. And I'm like, screw it. So I go and I made my reservation, and the thing came up. It says, hey, if you pay for this now, we'll give you $400 off and give you 30,000 airline miles. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, okay. So I said, fuck that. I upgraded my seats to first class.
Yep.
And I took I paid for it. It was like $800 for 2 first class round trip tickets, and they're going to give me, $400 and 30,000 miles to do it. And I'm going to spend the exact same amount of money that I would have if I flew coach.
Yep. A lot of people, that's the thing, is these, like Delta, and I don't know about Delta, but American and all these ones that still do first class, a lot of people just don't even bother to look at the first class seats because they think that's just too expensive, and they want to sell those first class seats. Fly first class if you can.
Yeah.
Simple as that. It makes your life so much easier flying first
It does.
class.
Or if you do coach, upgrade to the coach with the extra room. At the very least, it's like maybe $50 at the most.
Oh, it makes your flight so. Flying back from Texas first class was like probably my best flight experience that I've had. I've done a first class before, but up until recently, this one was like, oh my God, it's so easy. I'm on the plane, off the plane.
Yeah, you're the first on, you're the first off. They get your bags off of the airplane
drinks.
First. Free drinks. I don't drink when I fly. I might because my dad's going to be there to pick me up. I won't. If I'm gonna drive at any time, I'm not going to have any alcohol. I am so against drinking and driving. I won't even do that. I made all of those mistakes when I was younger, and I kick myself in the ass all the time, thinking how stupid I was.
At the end of every show, don't drink and drive. I say that.
Yes, and it's something that I believe in 100,000%, if that's even possible. But yeah, that's dude. So you guys, everybody knows that website. That's USA Jobs. Go to usajobs.com. And if you want a job in the aviation, if you're qualified, I mean, look, USA Jobs is awesome. They're all government jobs. Their application process is very bad because it's multi-tiered and there's a lot of hoops you got to jump through. But
I know this very well.
Once you're in, you're in. But if you have an aviation background, you want a pretty decent, steady job, man. FAA, Department of Transportation, that's kind of the way to go. But they do recruit. I mean, if you go to, let's just fucking.
Especially with the whole IT field, they want like entry level position. Do you have a degree? Well, I have all the certs. Oh, but do you have a degree?
Oh yeah,
like,
a lot of companies are getting away from that, though. A lot of companies are getting away from that.
It's like Lockheed did that to me. I think what was the other one that did? Northrop did it to me, where they're like, "Hey, you've got all this experience, but what about a degree?" I'm like, "Why do I need to go to college? I already know everything." Yeah. A lot of companies now are getting away from the degree thing. That's good.
Which is really, really good because my what is he? He's an engineer for. We're the same. He came from the Marine Corps. We were both low-level technicians for our company, and we did the same thing. You know, we're building boxes, building, you know, test stations and whatnot, flight simulators. And I ended up getting transferred to flight training, and then I went from flight training back to a different flight research hangar. I ended up getting laid off, and he ended up taking he got promoted, and then he just kept on getting promoted, and now he's, you know, engineer 4. I don't know if he's got a college degree. The dude knows a lot. He knows a lot. Hardware, software, lab architecture, software architecture. He knows a lot about a lot of things. He doesn't know everything, but he knows a lot about a lot of things. And he just learns. He's like a fucking sponge, dude. This guy just accumulates knowledge. And it's, you know, I don't even think he's got a degree. I don't. He did like 8 years in the Marine Corps as an H-1 crew chief.
There you go.
But he's a smart guy. But for a lot of the positions in my company, it was like, you have to have a fucking master's degree. I'm like, dude, no.
It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't, because back at that time, it's like, to have a master's degree, you're going to be 30 something years old. Or if they require an MBA.
8 years. Yeah, that's 8 years of your life as a child, that young kid spent. I don't understand that. Like 8 years in the military, learned like all the experience I got in the military for my IT fields and stuff like that, and all schools I went to, didn't equate to nothing to these companies because it wasn't accredited or whatever. And it really screwed me over if you think about it. Coming out of the Army, like all these people are like, you need a degree, It's like I spent the last 10 years jumping all over the place. I didn't have time to go to college, but I got on the job training. I know what I'm doing. And
what really sucks is that they'll say, like, this position requires a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, and then, you know, with, you know, 5 or 8 years of experience. And I'm like, how exactly? How?
Yeah,
and then their salary, and they'll give like a salary range. It was like 44 to 53 a year.
They were so bad.
The
IT field got, like, especially in the government, the IT field, I don't know what they were doing, but it got like super saturated, and the requirements were insane at that point. They wanted you to have like CISPA and freaking CEH and like the whole 9 yards. These are big courses, and then they wanted you to have a master's degree on top of it. I'm like thinking to myself, it's like, damn, man, it's just like, you want me to have $80,000 of debt on top of all these certifications? Never work out at that point. No?
And now it's even more. And we're going to talk about later on in the show, student loan repayments and how people are protesting this. And this is just insane. It's really insane.
I think that's the biggest federal Ponzi scheme that's existed since Social Security, but I don't want to get into that.
So anyway, I do want to talk about the FAA and you know the DEI type stuff. But I'm, you know, all joking aside, I do want to say that some pilots are participating in what's called healthcare avoidance behavior, particularly when it comes to mental health care for the pilots. One retired airline pilot said, after 3 decades of experience, he said it's really difficult to reach out for help. It's hard to reach out for help at all. In one of the most high stress jobs, the pilots are often overworked, and they're struggling with chronic stress and anxiety and depression, use of alcohol, and sometimes drugs. Check this shit out, dude. In 2019, the Journal of Occupational and Environmental Medicine asked a simple question. Have you ever felt worried about seeking medical care because it may impact your career? 78.6% of the respondents said yes. A similar question.
Like the military. That sounds exactly like that.
A similar question was asked among military pilots in 2023. Have you participated or are you participating in healthcare avoidance behavior over fear of losing your wings? 72% of the respondents answered yes. Now, I don't have the answers, But I think that we need to make sure that it's okay to ask for help when you need it. I don't care what your career field is. Police, fire, medical, military, and yes, airline pilots. Mental health should not be, your mental health and asking for help should not be stigmatized. The FAA is getting a lot better with it right now. I mean, you're not going to lose your wings because you're in therapy. If you're bipolar, that's a whole other thing. I mean, you need to be taken care of.
I'm stressed and I don't know what the hell's going on in my life. I need someone to talk to you.
There are reasons to ground you, but there's not a reason to get rid of you as maybe a pilot. Maybe you won't be a pilot again, but maybe you can train pilots, or maybe you can work in a different field within the FAA, or in the military, or in police, or fire, to take care of your brothers and sisters, or to train them up or whatever.
Or just become a test pilot.
But I think all of those guys are nuts, man. And that's all I work with is a bunch of test pilots, and they're just they're extremely some of the smartest people that I know. Smart technically and just witty and not always cool to be around. But when they talk, people listen because they're smart and they know what the fuck they're talking about. But anyway, I'm getting away from the real point is mental health. The hardest thing about anything that any of us do, and by us I mean us, everybody here, is asking for help, dude. I mean, people stress out all the time. People's marriages aren't fucking sunshine and rainbows and bunny rabbits all the time. You go through rough patches, and it is extremely hard to ask for help. And realizing that you need help, that's kind of the first thing, and just asking for help.
That's the first step.
Yeah, I'm not in the 12-step program or whatever, but I've heard it works pretty fucking good. Realize you got a fucking problem and ask for help.
Reach out.
Okay. The rest of the show is going to be fucking not bummed out and shit. I promised. I promise. So
I'll bum it out.
No, don't. You're gonna. Okay, I see. Okay, let's zoom to the Pooky cam, the big Pooky cam. Okay, you see that little bottle over his shoulder? Where he's about a third down.
Maybe.
Is that okay?
A quarter, maybe
quarter?
A quarter, not a third. Yeah.
So, the more empty that bottle gets, the better the show's going to be.
Pacing myself.
Yeah. But we are going to take a short break. I think it's about time for a break. It is time for a break. We're going to take a very, very short break. I think it's going to be 7 minutes long when we come back. We're going to talk about some really cool stuff. Yeah. All right. We are going to take a break, and I'm just talking here because not everything's like out of order. So anyway, always remember taxation is theft, and we are going to be back in just a minute. Shots.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
That dog.
WTF Nation Radio.
I almost forgot to unmute the mic. But yeah, we're back for part 2 of Friday Night Freedom here on WTF Nation Radio. My name is Koz. Up there's Pooky. And we're going to take you all to the finish line here. We were talking about, airlines and mental health and DEI requirements for a lot of industries. And we're going to move on from that. And we're going to geek out on a little bit on the space industry now. Recently, I think it was January 8th, spaceship launched on a Vulcan rocket, taking a lunar rover up into the space. And
Earth.
It is now a crippled spacecraft. I don't know if it came down yet or not, but there is a crippled American spaceship lost over a remote region of the South Pacific. Probably burning up in the atmosphere as we speak in a fire ran to its failed mission to land on the moon. Astrobotic's Peregrine lander was launched on January 8th under an experimental new partnership between NASA and private industry intended to reduce costs for American taxpayers and seed a lunar economy. But it experienced an explosion shortly after separating from its main rocket, and it has been leaking fuel. And it also damaged the outer shell, making it impossible for the lander to reach its destination. Astrobotic posted on X that it had lost contact with the spacecraft shortly before 4 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, mid-morning on Friday, and in the local time zone, indicating that a controlled re-entry over the open water had to happen. Engineers had executed a series of small engine burns to position this boxy golf cart-sized robot over the ocean to minimize the risk of debris reaching land, which is completely different than what fucking China would do when they have when shit goes sideways, they just let it go.
We don't know where it's going.
No, they're just like, this is like fucking Earth roulette, man, with a Chinese spacecraft. But with this one, it's gonna come down over the sea somewhere where there's nobody. So that's that. So that's kind of cool. Astrobotic is the name. Astrobotic also tweeted a photograph, which is what you're seeing right now, taken by the spacecraft on its final day, revealing the Earth's crescent as it positioned itself between the sun and our planet. But that's just pretty cool. That's a cool shot, and it sucks. It's like, hey guys, I'm fixing to fucking die. But here we go.
Look at that flat Earth.
Look at that flat Earth. Those guys fucking piss me off. Funny, Astrobotic also carried some precious cargo on behalf of private clients. A Japanese company, Astroscale, purchased a ride on Peregrine for the Pocari Sweat Lunar Dream Capsule. So Pocari Sweat is a beverage manufacturer in Japan. They purchased a space in there. They call it the Pocari Sweat Lunar Dream Capsule. The company said that the time capsule, shaped like a sports drink, like the Pocari Sweat bottle, it's a water bottle, has 872 messages from children around the world in it. Bitcoin has sent up a copy of the Genesis block. The first block of Bitcoin to be mined is on that. A group called Riders on the Moon purchased space. A capsule called the DHL Moonbox included work from 125 riders. The cremated remains of 70 people, including Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry, Star Trek star Nichelle Nichols, and U.S. Presidents George Washington and Dwight Eisenhower and John F. Kennedy are on that. The remains of sci-fi author Arthur C. Clarke are on that lunar lander. Dog hair removed from someone's deceased family dog around there. So everyone, paid for all these, space.
So it's kind of like a GoFundMe space flight?
Kind of.
Okay, I got you. All right. Probably been better if NASA would have just said, hey, SpaceX, let's do this shit, huh?
Right? So they, all these things were kind of, for space. And the thing is, there was I think there was the Navajo Indian tribe said, hey, fucking tap the brakes on this shit. Because they hold the moon as extremely sacred, and they just don't want it to be a
polluted with trash,
a litter box for lunar, whatever the fuck.
Dear Lord, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
we're just sending our trash.
Yeah, they're just like, look at this shit, woohoo! And the Navajos are going, whoa, dude. So they're like, hey, let's have a discussion. I mean, they're upset, but they're like, hey, let's have a discussion on this. So hopefully they can work things out because, come on. We need to get along with everybody.
Pentagon, Halliburton, there's oil on the moon.
Oh, dude, no. What the hell was it? Oh, my gosh. I saw a meme that's like, hey, somebody, some whatever found a planet out there. Then it looks like there's city lights on it.
The Proxima Centauri B or whatever it is. I know what you're talking about. And that was not real news. It was someone it was like a speculative study saying that the James Webb would be able to detect lights on an exoplanet within a certain light year, kind of and they mentioned Proxima B, I think. And yeah, I was just like, holy shit, they saw lights on another planet. And I read into it. It was like, y'all read the study wrong.
Right, they did, or they didn't read the study. And they just like, ooh, we're going to jump to conclusions without having any facts. But someone made a meme and it was really, really funny. And it just says, oh, so you mean there's oil?
There's oil
there's
on another
oil
planet. You mean to tell me that faster than light drives exist all of a sudden?
So I said we're going to talk about the student loan thing.
Oh, yeah.
And this is an interesting conversation because I don't understand how these protests actually happen or what they think is going to come out of it. But the federal student loan interest resumed. This is a fact. It's happening. If you have a student loan, your interest resumed accruing on September 1st, 2023, and payments restarted in October of 2023. In a survey conducted by Intelligent.com of 1,000 borrowers, 250 of them said that they have not resumed paying their loans. 23 of those said that they were intentionally not repaying their debt in order to force the government into forgiving their loans.
That's how you wind up with a 1099 Charlie in your tax return. And then now you owe the IRS, which is
interest accrues. Let's oh God, keep that up there. Keep that up there. I'm going to go to this. I'm going to go to this. I'm sorry. These are federal subsidized student loans. The government's going to get their money. There's no two ways about that. They're going to get the money.
They will do civil, asset forfeiture. Yes, they will snatch every last they will leave you naked on the side of the road if they think they can get a penny off of you. Then you still owe them with accruing interest on a daily basis. This is not just like a monthly basis. A daily basis, you're getting hit with 14%.
We're gonna talk about the penalties. So Holly says, why are we sending the remains of past presidents to the moon? That's weird as fuck. I get it. I get it. But, it's just, it is what it is. So anyway, I don't know in what world this ever will make sense. To protest, to not pay a bill because you're protesting the fact that you have this bill. You go to college, you decide, or you agree with the institution to take on this debt, and you go to class, you pass, you get a degree, and then all of a sudden you're not willing to repay that debt. Now, I understand. I completely understand. I graduated and I had maybe $36,000 of student loan debt. I paid it off. I think I got rid of that 2 years ago. Let me see, what is this, 24, 3, 2, 1, 3 years ago. So that was like a big pay increase for me. But yeah, I took on the debt fully willing to, pay it back. You got to sign a promissory note. And everything that you sign is a contract. So yeah, I paid it back. But people are taking out fuck tons of money, and they're getting degrees that will not support. They will not support your ability to repay that loan. They're getting
medieval
120
poetry. I've got a master's degree in medieval poetry.
I've got a philosophy degree, and the best job I can find is paying $36,000 a year.
Underwater basket weave.
Or what is his name? He's a Jewish conservative guy. Talks real super fast. Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
He's like, he always calls it. No, you get this degree in underwater basket weaving.
Yes, underwater. I've been calling it that forever, but digress.
So, what are the penalties for defaulting on a student loan? Let me see. Wages can be garnished without a court order.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, hold on. I got another graphic on this. Wages can be garnished without a court order. You can lose your tax refund. You can lose your Social Security check. And all of these monies that are collected are applied toward your balance. The entire amount due can become accelerated with the entire balance due now. Of course, it will impact your credit score. And we can have a discussion on whether your credit score or whether to have a credit score is beneficial or not. I think pretty much it is, but be responsible about it. It could keep you from securing a job if they do a background check.
Yes. Especially with talking top secret, compartmentalized kind of thing. Yeah. If you got bad credit, good luck with that. Huh?
Yeah, we're going to talk about security clearances here in the next item here. Security clearances are renewed every 5 years for top secret and every 10 years for secret. And that's the way it used to be.
I thought they changed it to 7 for TS. Unless
I think it's
they
5.
were talking. I think they were talking about that when I was getting out, and they're like, "Oh, it's every 7 years and every 10 years for secret or whatever." But
yeah, it's 10 years for secret. I just went through it. It's 10 years for secret, 5 years. 10 years for secret, 5 years for top secret. But as of 2020, it either happened in 2020 or 2021, all security clearance holders are subject to what's called continuous vetting. And this means that your shit is almost always being looked at. Defaulting on your student loan will put your security clearance in peril.
Sneezing sideways will get you loss of adjudication.
The way that it used to be is let's say you just got your clearance, but then you got a DUI. They're not going to find out about it until you have to reapply or renew. Now it's like there's continuous vetting, so it's coming. It's coming. It might not be this week. It might not be next week or in 3 months, but it's gonna come. They're gonna find out. So if you have a security clearance,
don't drink and drive,
and don't kick your dog and don't beat your spouse. So if you have a security clearance and you have defaulted on your loan, make sure that you self-report to your security officer. Let them know first before they find out. Self-reporting makes it a lot easier for you to maintain your clearance in your job. If you self-report, you're probably not, I'm not saying you're not going to. I'm saying the chances of you maintaining your clearance are a lot greater if you self-report this. Or, if you get a DUI, self-report that before that shit gets into the system.
Like, yo, I fucked up, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Because
that shows you're being honest.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea behind the security clearance. If you hide that from them and they find that out, you're a threat at that point for a security leak at that point.
Yeah, it's like, what else are they going to hide?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, self-reports, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the infraction is. Anything that could, if your associations happen to involve a person that's a foreign national...
Hey,
dude, I had to report a... we do have foreign nationals that work in my company, and they come into my lab. They have to sign in every day, but I have to report them as foreign national contacts that I actually spend time with. It sucks. It sucks because
we're a speeding ticket.
Yes, speeding tickets.
Report that and be like, hey, I got a speeding ticket the other day. Just letting you know. Yeah, that's the whole point of the top secret clearance.
I mean, everything is up front, dude. Just,
oops, I brought my cell phone into the building, and here's my cell phone. And I've been there, done that. That's not a fun process.
our new building that we just constructed. Meaning the company I work for. It's kind of like they're treating it like a skiff. I mean, there's lockers outside the lab. You can't bring anything in there that has. You have to have memory clearing specific memory clearing instructions to take in electronics inside and out. Oscilloscopes, multimeters, everything's got to have, a method or a process to clear any memory that's available on it.
Oh, you got a big contract, man.
Yeah. So we got, there's lockers outside. Before you go in, you got to fucking put your fucking cell phone in anything. Take everything out of your fucking pocket, put it in there. Go inside, do your work. And it's awesome. And I think that we're years away from actually getting, quote unquote, locked down where it's actually a thing. But everyone's getting used to the process now. And it's going to take a couple of years for everyone to get used to doing this. And I think it's awesome. I love that my company's being very proactive in this.
You gotta be very proactive nowadays, especially like corporations need to be like that because of all the corporate espionage going on right now.
Yes, very much.
So you got to be very careful about what data is coming in and out.
And there's no data coming in and out. It's people. It's air gapped. Everything is it's awesome. It's fucking awesome. And I'm very happy to be a part of it. So on the super side, the super light side of things, super light, we can say that super light side of things, which is kind of sucks. And actually, I thought this company or this product went out of business a long damn time ago. But it's the end of an era for Fruit Stripe gum, the 54-year-old gum brand that has been known for its fruit-inspired flavors in a zebra print product. The brand owner is discontinuing this striped treat. I thought that they disappeared years ago. I really have not. I have not seen any of this stuff.
I had that twice as a kid, and I thought it was the nastiest gum on the planet. Huh?
So I don't know. I've had this gum, and it's like it's like the greatest thing for like 30 seconds, and then it's gone.
It's like Bazooka. I got a packet.
Bazooka's yes.
I found that's still a thing. I found a packet of Bazooka the other day, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I put it in my mouth, chewed it for about 5 seconds. So I was like, "This is why I don't chew on this shit anymore." It just goes from good to nothing.
What's really good about that statement is Bazooka, you take it out of the pack, it doesn't matter if it just came off the assembly line or if it's 10 years old. The flavor lasts about 10 seconds and then you're done.
Yeah.
And it tastes like you're eating nothing afterwards. It's like chewy paper.
The Fruit Stripes had like those fake ass tattoos on them, I think.
They did.
And it was Bazooka was the one that had the comic strips.
Yes, and it was always
that made absolutely no sense.
Yep. So, quote, the decision to sunset this product was not taken lightly. We considered many factors before coming to this decision, including consumer preferences and purchasing patterns and overall brand trends for this fruit stripe gum. I don't know anybody who purposefully went out and said, "Hey, I know, Mom, you're going grocery shopping, but please pick up a pack of fruit stripe gum for me, would you please?"
Like a novelty thing. I think the last time I got a pack of that was at a 5 and dime. That's gonna date me a little bit, but yeah.
So the iconic gum, which has been sold since the 1960s, came in 5 flavors: Wet and Wild, Melon, Cherry, Lemon, Orange, and Peach. Each pack came with a temporary tattoo of its mascot. Do you know what his name is?
Stripes the zebra.
Yipes.
Yipes
the zebra. So Ferrara is the company that owns it, which also produces other well-known candy brands such as Trolley, Fun Dip. I love Fun Dip.
The worms.
Trolley's the worms. Fun Dip is the like the
powder.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like the
that
sugar
we all,
stick.
Like used to snort as like crazy kids. You won't snort that. Like the pixie sticks. Yeah.
Dude, what? You fucking snorted that shit?
That was used to be like a challenge. You take like a pixie stick and you just go.
Oh no! Let's see. Fun Dip. Fun Dip is the stuff that we get when I played baseball.
Yeah, I remember.
You would get
it had a candy, like a white candy.
A white candy stick, and then you would have like grape, strawberry, and or grape cherry and lemon or lime. Yeah. And you would lick it and dip it in there and then lick it off. It was like, yeah, it was all like sugar on sugar.
Pure sugar.
Pixie sticks is what you were talking about, like the grape tubes of sugar and
this little tube of sugar. But we used to bet each other, like, I bet you won't snort that. I'm like, bet you I won't.
I bet you I will. Yeah, I'm guilty. And they also have Nerds. They also own Nerds. I love Nerds. Nerds is good.
Remember the old bubblegum cigarettes?
Yes. You can get a pack of whatever, the Marlboro or whatever.
Yeah. You blow on it and it lets this little cloud of, I don't know if it was
some
like
dust or fucking meth or whatever was in there.
Let's throw that penny candy. Do you remember penny candy?
We is that the same thing? Of course, this is during my baseball days. It would be like a piece of paper with a bunch of blips of candy on it. Is that it?
No,
you would get like a 3-foot strip for
the dots. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like they'd measure it out and they would like charge you for it. No, penny candy is you walk in with like, maybe like 50 cents and they would like measure it out by the weight. And it was like, you could walk out like as a kid, if you found a quarter on a road with like 2 brown bags of like candy, just, that's the way it was up in Pennsylvania, at least where I was growing up. Like they measured that shit out. If you had a quarter, you get some beef jerky. Back in the day. Yeah, it was penny candies. I gotta look that up now.
So I think the only other gum that exists that lost flavor at the same rate, probably Juicy Fruit, Bazooka. Juicy Fruit sucked, man. I didn't like. I love Juicy Fruit. My grandfather chewed Juicy Fruit. That was his gum, and I just remember chewing that, and then just 30 seconds, a minute, or something after you eat it, you're like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, and then all of a sudden, this is the most nothing thing ever.
I think back then it was just more of like, oh, the flavor's initial, but it's just something like kind of like to fixate yourself. Kind of, I don't know, because I like what's those ice cubes or whatever from the gas stations now, the peppermint ones.
Those are good. I've got some of those in my car, and they've been in
30 minutes. Yeah,
they've been in there for fucking, and they've been sitting in my console for years, dude. And
speaking of which,
every once in a while, like when I go and get my Altoids are awesome. I love Altoids. Yes. I like the cinnamon ones. I like the cinnamon.
I'm a peppermint guy, but no.
If your sinuses are stopped up, man, fucking put 2 of those fucking Altoids in your mouth. Nice. It'll clear
the thing
you right
I
up.
miss is the citrus ones they used to have. Remember those?
They don't have those anymore? I like
think
those.
They make them anymore. Like it was like a grapefruit or like a citrine or something like that. And
This is completely unrelated to what we're talking about, but it's related. I read an article that says if you have a migraine or a persistent headache, eat an Altoid. That kind of throws your sinuses into like a what the fuck is this? Because that's what happened when you put a minty Altoid in your mouth, your entire sinuses are going, what the fuck is this?
I do this for like a nicotine kind of like substitute. Like if I start getting like a nicotine headache when I'm sitting here playing on the computer, I'll pop one of those in there and my brain just completely
kind of resets.
Like, you don't need a cigarette now. Cool, I can play for another 2 hours.
There you go. But as far as the migraines go, another thing to get rid of a migraine, and this is not medical advice at all, but open up one of those lens cleaning wipes and sniff it, and it'll sidetrack your migraine. And I didn't believe that. I'm like, that's kind of weird, but
dark chocolate works for me.
Like if you've got a headache, you eat dark chocolate and that goes away.
The migraine, like dark. I'm talking about like 99% cocoa, whatever they call it.
It's like baking chocolate.
No, it's just eat it, and then your headache migraine kind of mellows out. I don't know. It works for me. I don't know if it works for anyone else. Not medical advice.
Yeah, no, but she was having a migraine, and she's like, I'm going to have to leave early. And I'm like, I remembered this thing that I read, and I'm like, okay, here you go. I've got a lens wipe. I fucking open it up. I'm like, here, smell this. What does it smell like to you? And she smelled it, and I'm like, did your headache go away? And she says, it kind of did. And so she kept it with her, and she smelled it. And then I saw her like 3 hours later. She's like, that fucking worked. I was like, well, okay. So if anybody out there is a migraine sufferer, open up the next time you're having a migraine, open up a fucking lens cleaning wipe and sniff it. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. It worked for her. I don't have migraines. Thank goodness I don't have migraines.
They're selling like pill bottles now on Amazon of, excuse me, what is it? The ammonia smelling salt.
That is like super. It's always been big in sports, and now they're like, what is it? What are they? Are they doing cocaine on the? I'm like, no, those are fucking smelling salts.
I don't know. I got a jug of ammonia like chilling in my cleaning closet. And if I'm feeling kind of weird, I go, I'm waiting.
Yeah, God, that would piss me off. But I'd get it reinvigorated. How about that?
It gets you going. It's better than a cup of coffee, I think. But then it only lasts for about like 30 seconds.
It does. It does. So I think we're gonna call it, man. I think we've had a good night. This has been a good show. Thank you all for being here. Well, Holly, you're awesome. She can't do mint. She says it burns my mouth.
I love mint.
But once that mint is burned off from an Altoid, it kind of goes away. Maybe try.
I can't do winter mint or spearmint. I have to do peppermint.
Okay.
I can't. Those two, like wintergreen. Oh God, there's a reason behind wintergreen because I used to dip school wintergreen.
Ugh.
When I quit dipping, like I lost the taste to it, and I just like I smell it. It makes me sick.
It's like getting sick on tequila and then drinking tequila afterwards.
Yeah, I used to stuff like a third of a can of school wintergreen in my jaw and just let it sit all day. And like, I can't do that no more.
Hey, actual King Smith is here. He says Pooky hides money in his beard. How do you know that? And why do you know that?
No money.
So while you're here, why don't you let us know? Are you guys doing a show this Sunday?
Yes.
We didn't know what to say at the beginning of the show when we did our little house cleaning thing. We're going to have kind of an empty week. It's going to be a very like a no-show week unless Sports Bar does a show on Sunday. Is Sports Bar doing a show on Sunday? He said he would hide money in his beard.
I would if I needed
to. All the money I've got right now, I can hide in my beard. So there you go. So yes, yeah, the sports.
My wallet's in my safe, so I don't even show off.
So kind of busting down the week. Where is our? Where is it?
The Monday show is kind of on hiatus. Tuesday show is. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm just spouting things I don't even know at this point. No?
Okay, so Sunday we're going to have the sports bar. Monday is a Monday edition. Tuesday is Pop Culture Warrior. Wednesday is the Smoke Pit, and Thursday is Sergeant's Time. For every other Friday is us right here. But for this week coming up, with Sunday being the start of the week, the only show that we're going to have this week is the Sports Bar, and they're going to be on Sunday. It's going to be Coach, and it's going to be the actual King Smith, and he says he's finally good to go. I really wanted to hear you talk shit against the Cowboys, because if you look at my shit here, where's my shit here? Okay, Smith, are you looking? Look at that. This is my protest against my team. I am a Cowboys fan. This is my protest against my team. My Cowboys little thing is upside down. So, and my reasoning behind that is I think the Cowboys went into this playoff game playing like a regular season team, not a playoff team. And that's why they got their ass handed to them. So you can talk about it. I'm going to be listening, dude. I always tune into the sports bar because I'm not I'm not a sports guy, but I do like sports. I can't quote stats. These guys can quote stats all day long, every day, all day.
I can't do the stats thing. I have a hard enough time remembering who's playing for who. I know a few players like Henry from Titans and like Rudolph from
the Red-Nosed Reindeer team. Yeah,
yes,
that guy. Dak Prescott. Okay.
Patrick Mahone. I'm messing names up like crazy. Kansas City quarterback. Who else? Tony Romo don't play no more.
But he does. He plays in the commentator box, and I heard he was kind of like not all there.
Yeah, he fell into that. Huh? I think young Sheldon did a better job on Nickelodeon. But I don't even get that.
You know what I think is pretty cool? I think is it Nickelodeon that does the simultaneous broadcast where you can see like a cartoon representation of the game.
It's for kids. It's for kids.
That's awesome. Get them hooked. Get them hooked.
So the adults can watch the football game and the kids can be entertained instead of bouncing all over.
Yeah, and it's like real time, man. There's like no lag. So that's awesome.
Love it. It was a great idea. SpongeBob dancing around in the end zone. All right.
Yes. So I wonder what the Nickelodeon halftime show. So what do we have? We have let me see,
Nelly?
Reba McEntire, and we have let me see, Post Malone is going to be doing the Star Spangled Banner.
It's Nelly, I think. Is it Nelly doing that?
Nelly or what's his nuts?
Usher.
That's it.
Is
my
it
mom,
Usher?
my mom's gonna tune into the halftime show because she likes Usher. That's why she wants to watch the game.
Just because halftime shows have sucked since Janet Jackson's nipple slipped.
It used to be. I mean, Lizzo was supposed to be there, but then she kind of shit the bed.
Prince was on there once.
Prince is awesome. There's such a good list of. I mean, Creed did the halftime show and rocked it in fucking in Dallas right here in Arlington, kicking that ass back in the day.
With arms wide open.
Dude, I love Creed. I really do. It's just like Nickelback. I love Nickelback. I don't care.
I don't like Nickelback. Creed's cool to me.
Nickelback is just
it's like Bush. Like Nickelback is like Bush to me at that point.
Okay, gotcha. I read you. So anyway, here's the lineup, but we're only going to have the sports bar this week, and Friday Night Freedom is off. So that's all we have. Sports bar, you better have a good show because it's got to take all the listeners through the week. So anyway, I think that's it. That's our show. You got any excellent words for everybody?
I think I said them about 3 or 4 times, and I don't drink and drive, don't beat your spouse, don't kick your dog, and I won't say don't fly American unless you're flying first class.
First class.
So, yeah.
All right.
Other than that, I hope you all have a great weekend. Be safe, and like I said, don't drink and drive.
It is so much cheaper to get a fucking Uber or a taxi or whatever kind.
Uber has done more to stop DUIs than those checkpoints that the moms that demand action bullshit have done. That's all I gotta say.
All right, everybody.
Free
I
market.
hope you have a great fucking week. Just be good, make good decisions, and we'll see you next time. Love y'all. Bye.
My friend came to the door. She said, well, I was on the phone cooking me and my baby some breakfast. And she said, hey, something wrong. It's popping. I said, what? She said, yeah. I said, no. So the girl come downstairs. She come out her apartment with her baby with no shoes on. I said, oh, girl, it's cold outside. She said, something ain't right. I said, oh, man. She said, oh, man, the building is on fire. I said, no, what? I got my 3 kids and we bounced out. We ain't gonna be in no fire, not today.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? Oh, so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular upon us singing out, yeah, through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the
This is WTF Nation Radio.
Let's see it.